Hi, I'm John with Thinker Woodshop, and today we're doing a shop tour, and I'm going to explain how I put together an entire wood shop for less than $1,200. Alright, so I wanted to start at the front of my garage. I'm working out of a 3-car garage, but most of my tools are stored in the single bay. So since I'm pretty tight on space, everything I have needs to be on wheels so I can roll it out as I am using it and put it back when I'm done. What I'm going to be talking about in this tour is not only what tools I have, but what I picked them up for, to explain how I put together this wood shop for less than $1,200. And I should mention, I'm only talking about stationary tools. I already had a bunch of hand tools, and I'm not going to be including that in the costs that I'm talking about here for this video. So the first one here is a disc and belt sander. It's a Dayton 1 horsepower, and I picked this up at an estate sale. It's a really good unit, pretty lightly used. It's dirty, but you know, it's a sander. I got it for $80, and that brings me to my a good point for saving money. Estate sales, my strategy is to pick up all the tools I want and to buy and offer them a bulk price, if you will. So I got this and a bunch of hand tools for $100. That's why I'm saying I got this for about $80. But those hand tools were, you know, those are expensive when you buy them individually. So it's a good way to pick up consumables as well, and save a little bit of money that way. It's a good unit. I've already used it a couple times. I just picked it up about a month ago, and been a good buy. Okay. Over here, I got a planer that I picked up from a guy in town that makes heirloom rocking chairs. He took very good care of his tools, and this thing was in great shape. I do have my preferences for tool manufacturers, and WEN is one of those companies that was not on my radar, but I do have to say that it's been a really good machine so far. And so I ended up picking up this machine for $200. New, it retails for $350, and the rolling base below was another $150. So $200 for $500 worth of equipment is a pretty good deal. I have a plan for this to do a flip top cart with my miter saw as well, and that's going to be a fun video. That's part of a larger project, and so keep an eye out for that. All right. Next, here I have my 6-inch Grizzly joiner. This has been a great machine, and I picked this up in trade. I had a bicycle that I had listed for months and wasn't getting any traction with it. Was able to strike a deal with a guy in town here for trade, and I picked this up, like I said, for no money out of hand. You know, to buy one of these things new is about $800, and it was a pretty fair trade for the bike that I gave him as well. It was a road bike. And I'm counting that as $0 because I hadn't used the bike and I was unable to sell it, so it was not, it was of no value to me since I couldn't sell it. But it's just one of the tricks that I was using to save some money and to end up with some really quality tools. All right, so over here, just on the other side of the single bay I have, is my miter saw. And right now, temporarily, I just have it on this metal rolling base. This metal rolling base I actually picked up from a sale from the local university. They have a surplus sale every month, and I got this cabinet for I think $5. and that's where I keep all of my paint and flammable supplies down below. So for now, this is where my miter station is. Again, I can roll it out, and I've got some sawhorses I set up to hold the ends of the pieces when I'm cutting. I got this unit for about $150. Again, I found him on Craigslist, and this guy was closing down his business, and he had a bunch of tools in a storage unit. He was trying to clear out the storage unit, so I ended up picking up this miter saw, a miter saw stand, which was a kind of a fold-up mobile base, and a bunch of hardwood flooring that I can use for edge banding and whatnot, all for $200. And then I sold the mobile base, so I ended up picking up this unit here for $150, and essentially got all that flooring for free. So that was a pretty good deal. I did have a miter saw, sliding miter saw before. The problem I had with that is the throw on the back was so long that I couldn't use it up against any walls. So I switched over to this just a compound miter saw without the slide, and so far it's done everything I've needed it to do. I'm pretty happy with this unit. In the future, when I design and build my dream shop, I might have room to go with a bigger miter saw, but for now this one does the trick. All right, follow me back here and I'll show you my table saw. All right, so as you come into my shop from the garage door, one of the first things you'll see here is my table saw, pretty much in the center of my garage. I ended up picking this up from someone for $200. He was retiring and getting rid of all of his tools, and it came with a bunch of attachments and saw blades and a dado set, and it's been a great table saw. I've really enjoyed this unit. I did have a different brand table saw before, wasn't a big fan of it. Rolling base didn't work all that well, and had some issues. So when I was looking for this unit, I couldn't find one in town because I live in a relatively small town, and I was going to visit my uncle the next weekend, so I just hopped on Craigslist, saw what was available up there, and that's where I found this. So I was already going on a trip, just threw a trailer on my truck and was able to bring it home. A few modifications I've made. I've added a zero clearance insert, and I have dust collection down below. I've pretty much blocked off all of the open spaces that allow air to get in as well, and I've added a rolling base. But all in all, this has been a really great machine. I'm glad I got it. Eventually I'd like to upgrade it to a saw stop, but that's years down the road when I'm able to build up some money to do that. For now though, this does everything I need it to do. Alright, so over here, I want to show you my dust collection. Alright, just off to the side from the table saw, I have these built-in units. Previous owner of the house built these, and there's 3 sections to it. So in this section I have my dust collection, and then I have some household and some automotive storage in the other 2 sections. Those are not for my wood shop per se, but this one isn't. So in here, I've sectioned off the actual dust collector. It's a jet 1.5 horsepower dust collection system. I love having this behind doors. It helps cut down on the noise and some of the dust, and it's really convenient to have it back there. I ended up picking this up from the same guy that I bought the miter saw from. He was clearing out his warehouse, and I got this for $100. It was a really great buy. I was really happy about it, and it does a great job. So you'll notice over here, I wired it up to a switch, so I could just turn it on within reach and distance of all my tools. So if I get a bigger shop, I might get a remote, but I don't need it right now. One problem I do have is I keep my hose just coiled up in the corner, and so that's going to be a project that I'm going to try to build something to contain all that hose. We've got a really good idea. I haven't seen anyone do it yet, so cross my fingers. I think it's going to be a good project. Yeah, I did have another dust collector as well. I ended up buying that one for 120 bucks and selling it for 150. It was a good unit. It was the Delta 1 horsepower dust collection system. But you know, with a planer and a jointer, I just wanted, since I got it for such a great price, I wanted something a little bit bigger. Yeah. All right, moving over here, I'm going to show you my tool cart. All right, just over from the table saw, I have my mobile tool cart, and this just has all the smaller tools that I have. Little mini lathe, I've got a grinder, and I've got my clamp. Back on this corner, I used to have a 10-inch drill press. I got rid of that because I replaced it with a standalone unit, which you'll see in just a minute. And then these lights came with the scroll saw, which I'll also show you in a bit, but I use it for spotlighting when I'm working on smaller pieces. Some modifications I made here. I added a dust port so I can just hook up the dust collection, which I just need to hook it up, but this little shroud for the lathe, or I can unhook it and use it for anything else I'm using, making dust or debris over here on the grinder. Works out really good. I also included a charging station down below, so it's all wired for power. Lights and all the tools, I just have to plug in this one thing and they're all powered up. Great cabinet. I did not build this one. I bought it actually from the same guy that I bought the table saw from. I ended up picking up this lathe here for $120. Again, off of Craigslist. I didn't need a lathe at the time, but it was the right price for the unit, and I jumped on the deal. And I really like it. It's a good little lathe. So more projects to come with this guy here. And what you'll see behind me, I have got some saw blades and all my Craig jigs hanging on the wall here, and my miscellaneous ear and eye protection, and my shop vest as well to help keep me a little bit clean. And then right over here is the workbench. These cabinets in this workbench were actually installed by the previous owner of this house. It's got some integral T-track, and the front face actually pulls out so you can get in and add items onto the T-track, which is a cool little feature. Right now this is just a catch-all. I have to do a lot of organization. Some projects I have coming up, I'm going to put on a reclaimed lumber wall back here, get a shop logo up. I do have a TV up there which you can't see, it's out of frame. Yeah, so far I haven't had to do anything here, except for I do have to organize and clear some of the junk out, but that's why I'm making these videos, is to better organize my shop and to declutter the stuff that I do have. And yeah, I'm excited to get some of this stuff done. Some of the components I have over here are for future projects. So I've got a bunch of T-track here, which I'm going to use for my outfeed and assembly table. And some other miscellaneous stuff. So definitely come back and watch the progress of the shop. I'm going to show you the other side of the garage real quick, and then we'll call this one a wrap. All right, now I'm on the other side of the garage, and I'm going to start with this scroll saw here. This scroll saw was another estate sale purchase. I saw it listed on Craigslist, saw a picture of this unit, and decided that that would be a good addition. So one of the things I like about this is it's got a 24-inch depth, and that's just something it's real hard to find in newer units these days. Probably because the newer tools, there's a lot more options than there was back then. So this served a very specific purpose, and there's different ways to go about doing things. I liked this one. It's an old Craftsman 24-inch scroll saw. I got it for $100, and to be honest, I haven't even used it yet, other than to make sure it works. But I'm excited to get a few projects done on this as well. So yeah, that was a fun little find there. My toolbox is something I already had. Tools I already had in it. You can see I've got more organization to do here. Over here you can't really see. I have all my clamps stored, and so right now it's just kind of off to the side in a pile and up against the wall. Compressor, again, something I already had, and that's just kind of where it lives. And then moving over to the drill press. Drill press is something I picked up at another estate sale, and the same place I bought the disc and belt sander. I picked that up for $100, and it came with that welded table below it, and with all the different drill bits as well. That was a good find. It's Central Machinery, again, not the best name brand, but it works great, and there's always the option to upgrade in the future if I outgrow that machine. You'll notice a pretty big bandsaw. That's a Parks 18-inch bandsaw. Parks was somehow associated with Craftsman, so that's sometimes sold under the Craftsman name as well. I picked that up at an auction from the local university, and it was in the arts department for years, and I picked that up for $130. And that's been a really great tool. I've already started refurbishing it a little bit. I've got to replace the bearings, but otherwise it's a champ. It works great, and the motor was recently replaced as well. And then just past that, you'll see some storage of my sheet goods from previous projects. In front of me, actually, you can't see this as well, but I have more storage for full-size sheets and everything. Right now it's just leaning against the truck. And underneath the truck is where I store all my hardwood. It's just a convenient place to keep it all for now. Yeah, so that's the entire shop. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and really I hope to look back at this video in a year or two, and just to see how much progress I've made with the different shop organization and shop tricks that I'm hoping to share with all y'all. Yeah, I'm excited, guys. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time.